At the end of the day, the choices you make with your time will shape your future. It's the foundation of everything you want to achieve. So treat it with the respect it deserves, because every moment matters. Success isn't something that happens overnight, and it rarely comes without a cost. To achieve anything significant in life, sacrifices must be made. Whether it's time, comfort, relationships, or personal pleasures, reaching your goals requires giving up certain things along the way. The reality is you can't have it all at once. The pursuit of success means making tough decisions about what's most important to you and being willing to let go of other things, at least for a while. One of the biggest sacrifices people have to make on the road to success is their time. While others are out having fun or indulging in leisure, those chasing big dreams are often working late, studying, training, or practicing their craft. It's the hours behind the scenes, the ones no one sees, that often make the difference between success and failure. These are the moments when you have to choose between instant gratification and long-term gain. And more often than not, success requires you to pick the long term, even when it's hard. Another sacrifice that's often necessary is comfort. Growth happens outside your comfort zone. To reach new heights, you have to be willing to endure discomfort, whether it's the discomfort of failure, the uncertainty of stepping into something new, or the physical and mental strain of pushing yourself harder than ever before. Success doesn't come to those who stay in their safe, familiar routines. It comes to those who are willing to stretch themselves, take risks, and face challenges head-on. You may also find that your relationships are affected by the sacrifices you need to make. Friends, family, and social activities can sometimes take a back seat when you're focused on your goals. This doesn't mean you neglect the people who matter most, but it does mean that you may need to limit how much time you spend with them in order to stay committed to your path. Balancing relationships with ambition can be one of the hardest sacrifices to navigate, but it's often necessary to stay on track. The sacrifice of personal pleasures and habits is another key element. You might need to give up some of the things that bring you temporary joy, like binge watching TV, staying up late, or indulging in unhealthy behaviors, to make room for habits that align with your goals. Discipline becomes essential, and that means saying no to things that aren't contributing to your success, even when they're tempting. In the end, success requires a clear vision of what you want and the willingness to make sacrifices along the way. These sacrifices aren't easy, but they're part of the process. The road to achieving your dreams will challenge you to let go of certain things, but every sacrifice you make brings you one step closer to where you want to be. And when you finally reach that point, the sacrifices will have been worth it, because success is rarely achieved without them. One of the harsh truths you'll face on the path to success is that not everyone will support your journey. It's easy to assume that the people around you, friends, family, colleagues, will cheer you on as you pursue your dreams, but the reality is often quite different. Some will doubt you, some will criticize you, and others might even hope you fail. This is a difficult pill to swallow, but it's something you must learn to accept if you want to keep moving forward. There will be people who simply don't understand your vision. They might not see the bigger picture or grasp why you're putting in so much effort toward a goal that seems far off or unlikely. This lack of understanding can lead to skepticism, and even well-meaning people may try to talk you out of your ambitions, telling you to be more realistic or settle for something safer. While their intentions may not be malicious, their doubts can still plant seeds of uncertainty in your mind, making you second-guess your own path. Then there are those who won't want to see you succeed because your progress reminds them of their own lack of movement. Your ambition might highlight their complacency, and rather than being inspired by your drive, they feel threatened. They may subtly discourage you or downplay your achievements, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your growth makes them uncomfortable with their own stagnation. These people may not be outright adversarial, but their lack of support can weigh on you, especially if you once considered them close allies. Critics are another group you'll encounter along the way. As you rise, you may face people who actively try to tear you down. They'll point out your flaws, question your decisions, and highlight your mistakes, often with a tone that suggests they're rooting for your downfall. The truth is, some people thrive on negativity, and seeing others fail brings them a sense of satisfaction. These critics might be vocal or passive-aggressive, but either way, their words can sting and make the journey harder than it already is. You also have to realize that support is a two-way street. Just because you've been there for others in the past doesn't mean they'll be there for you now. It's painful, but sometimes the people you've helped or encouraged won't offer the same in return when it's your turn to take a leap. This can be one of the most surprising aspects of chasing success, the realization that the support you expected simply won't materialize. However, this lack of support doesn't mean you should stop. In fact, it should strengthen your resolve. The most important thing is that you believe in yourself, even when others don't. You have to stay focused on your goals and be willing to walk alone if necessary. The path to success can be lonely, and not everyone will be by your side, but that's okay. Not everyone is meant to come with you on your journey, and their approval is not required for you to succeed. In time, the right people, the ones who truly believe in you, will show up. These are the people who see your potential, who want to see you grow, and who will stand by you even when things get tough. But until then, you need to be your own biggest supporter. You have to block out the noise, ignore the doubters, and keep pushing forward, even when the crowd is silent. Because at the end of the day, your journey is yours, and whether people support you or not, you are the one who has to walk it. Motivation is a powerful force, but it's fleeting. There are days when you'll wake up feeling energized, ready to tackle whatever lies ahead. On those days, everything seems possible. You're driven, inspired, and full of enthusiasm for your goals. But the reality is those days are rare. Motivation comes in waves, and there will be long stretches where that excitement just isn't there. What happens then? That's when discipline takes over. And it's discipline, not motivation, that will carry you through the tough times. Relying solely on motivation is like relying on the weather to be sunny every day. It's unpredictable, and it's often out of your control. There will be mornings when you feel tired, uninspired, or simply overwhelmed by the challenges ahead. On those days, motivation might not show up. You won't feel like getting out of bed early to work on your goals. You won't feel like pushing yourself when things get hard. And that's where discipline steps in. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's a habit, a routine that you build over time. While motivation is emotional, discipline is practical. It's the commitment to follow through on the promises you made to yourself, regardless of how you feel in the moment. It's about showing up consistently, even on the days when everything inside you is telling you to quit. When you're disciplined, you don't wait for the right mood to strike. You take action because you know that progress requires consistent effort, day in and day out. Discipline helps you push past excuses. It makes you lace up your shoes and go for that run, even when it's raining. It keeps you studying late into the night, even when you're tired. It forces you to keep working toward your dreams, even when doubt and frustration creep in. Discipline isn't glamorous, and it's not always easy. It can feel like a grind at times, especially when you're not seeing immediate results. But it's in those moments that discipline is most crucial. Success doesn't come from doing things when they're convenient or when you feel like it. It comes from doing the work, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when progress seems slow. Over time, discipline builds momentum. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes to push through the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Discipline creates habits, and habits shape your outcomes. When you're disciplined, you don't have to rely on willpower to make good choices or stay focused on your goals. Your actions become automatic, part of your routine, and that's what leads to long-term success. Ultimately, motivation can kickstart a journey, but it's discipline that sustains it. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward when motivation fades. It's the steady force that drives you towards your goals, regardless of the obstacles in your path. And the more disciplined you become, the less you'll need to depend on fleeting bursts of motivation. Because when you're disciplined, you know that success isn't about how you feel on any given day, it's about what you do, day after day, no matter what. Life doesn't always play out the way we expect or the way we think it should. Sometimes No matter how hard you try or how much effort you put in, things don't go your way. You might face situations where people less deserving get the opportunities you've worked for, or moments where circumstances completely beyond your control set you back. The truth is, life isn't fair, and it never promises to be. But that doesn't mean you should stop moving forward. Fairness is often an illusion. We grow up with the idea that if we do the right things, if we work hard, if we play by the rules, good things will happen. And while effort and integrity do matter, they don't guarantee a perfect outcome. Life throws curveballs, and sometimes you'll find yourself dealing with situations you didn't deserve. This can be frustrating, even heartbreaking, but how you respond to those unfair moments is what truly defines you. It's easy to get stuck on the unfairness of life. You might feel resentment, anger, or a sense of injustice when things don't go your way. But if you spend all your time focused on what's not fair, you'll lose sight of what you can do. The reality is, complaining or feeling bitter won't change your circumstances. The only thing you can control is how you respond to them. You have to make a choice: either let the unfairness hold you back or keep pushing forward in spite of it. Moving forward doesn't mean ignoring the challenges you face. It means acknowledging that things didn't go your way, but refusing to let that define your future. Life will test you, and those tests aren't always even-handed. Some people start with advantages you don't have. Others might catch a lucky break you never seem to get. But none of that determines your potential. What matters is your resilience, the ability to keep going, to keep striving, and to keep improving despite the obstacles in your path. Life doesn't come with a handbook. But one thing is certain, it's going to teach you some hard truths along the way. Now, I'm not here to sugarcoat it. I'm not here to give you a highlight reel. I'm here to talk about those moments no one prepares you for, the ones that knock the wind out of you and make you question everything. First thing you've got to understand is this: failure is inevitable, but it's not final. You're going to fall down. You're going to mess up. The difference between those who make it and those who don't: the ones who make it get back up. They don't let failure be the period at the end of their sentence. No, they make it a comma and keep moving. Now, let's talk about something most people take for granted: time. Time is your most valuable resource. You think you've got all this time ahead of you, but let me tell you something you don't. Every minute you spend sitting still, waiting for the perfect moment, is a minute you'll never get back. You need to understand that now, because if you don't, you'll wake up one day and wonder where all that time went. And it won't be pretty. Here's the kicker: though success isn't free, it demands something from you. You can't have everything. Something has to give. You might have to sacrifice your comfort, your social life, or even a little bit of your peace of mind. But that's the price you pay if you want to be great. Because real success, it doesn't come easy, and it doesn't come to those who aren't willing to sacrifice. Now, let me hit you with something tough. Not everyone is going to cheer you on. Some people are going to doubt you, criticize you, and some, let's be real, are waiting for you to fail. Don't take it personal. Not everybody has your vision. And frankly, some people just don't want to see you win. But you can't let that stop you. You've got to learn to keep moving forward, even when the applause is quiet. And motivation. Let's talk about that. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. It's not what's going to get you through the hard days, the long nights, the times when you're tempted to quit. What you need is discipline. Discipline is what's going to carry you through when everything inside of you is telling you to stop. Discipline turns hard work into habit, and habit turns dreams into reality. Here's another hard truth: life isn't fair. You're going to face situations where you feel like the odds are stacked against you. And you know what? Sometimes they are. But fairness, that's not something you can control. What you can control is how you respond. You can get bitter or you can get better. But no matter what happens, you've got to keep moving. You need to understand this: happiness isn't a destination. It's not something you're going to find one day and hold on to forever. It's a journey. If you're constantly chasing the next big thing, the next milestone, the next "I'll be happy when," moment, you're going to miss out on the beauty of today. Find joy in the process, in the little things, in the everyday moments, because that's where life really happens. And finally, this one might sting a little. You are responsible for your own happiness. No one's coming to save you. No one else is going to hand you the life you want. It's on you. You've got to build it brick by brick. You've got to choose it day by day. It's not always easy, and it's not always fun, but it's the truth. These are the lessons nobody teaches you, but life will. And when you learn them, when you embrace them, you become unstoppable. So stand tall, keep pushing, and remember this life is yours. Don't wait for anyone else to tell you how to live it. Failure is a part of life, and it's something everyone will face at some point. No matter how talented, prepared, or determined you are, setbacks are going to happen. But here's the thing, failure doesn't mean it's over. In fact, failure is often the beginning of something better. It's an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to recalibrate your approach. When you fail, it can feel like the end of the world. It can knock the confidence out of you, make you doubt your abilities, and even make you question your path. But failure is not final unless you allow it to be. It's a moment in time, a challenge to overcome, not a defining feature of who you are. The real question is, what do you do after you fail? Do you give up or do you rise up? Some of the most successful people in history failed many times before they achieved greatness. Their failures didn't stop them. In fact, those failures helped shape their eventual success. Each time you fall short, you're given the chance to reassess what went wrong, refine your strategy, and come back stronger. That's how growth happens. That's how resilience is built. The key is to not let failure consume you. It's easy to get trapped in feelings of disappointment, regret, or even embarrassment. But those emotions, while valid, are temporary. What matters is how you respond to them. You can either dwell on the failure or use it as fuel to keep moving forward. Failure teaches you what doesn't work, and in doing so, it brings you closer to figuring out what does. Remember, no one's journey is without bumps in the road. The path to success is rarely a straight line. It's full of twists, turns, and yes, failures. But those failures are stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. They only become permanent if you choose to stop trying. So when you fail, don't see it as an ending. See it as a necessary part of the process. Because it's not final, it's just another chapter in your story. Time is the one resource you can never get back once it's spent. Unlike money, possessions, or opportunities, time is finite. Every second that passes is gone forever, and that makes it your most valuable asset. Yet it's often the thing we take for granted the most. We convince ourselves that we have plenty of it, that we can always make up for lost time later. But in reality, time is constantly slipping away, and the way we choose to use it determines the quality of our lives. People often think they're too busy to pursue their dreams, build relationships, or invest in themselves. But the truth is, we make time for what we truly value. Whether it's mindlessly scrolling through social media, binge watching shows, or procrastinating, we often waste time on things that add little to no value to our lives. Meanwhile, we put off the things that truly matter, like our goals, personal growth, or spending time with loved ones, assuming we'll always have time to get to them later. The harsh reality is, there might not always be a later. Time is also unique in that you can't earn more of it. Once a day, a week, or a year is gone, it's gone, it's gone. And while we can't control how much time we get in this life, we can control how we use the time we have. Are we spending it wisely? Are we investing it in things that matter our health, our relationships, our passions? Or are we letting it slip through our fingers, focused on distractions and short-term gratification? The most successful people understand the value of time. They know that every minute counts, and they make intentional choices about how they use it. They don't wait for the perfect time to act. They take advantage of the time they have right now. They prioritize their goals and use their time to move closer to them, no matter how small the steps might be. The truth is, Time is the ultimate equalizer. No matter who you are or where you come from, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. What you do with those hours is what sets you apart. You can spend them chasing distractions or use them to build the life you want. But once they're gone, there are no refunds, no second chances. So the sooner you realize that time is your most valuable resource, the sooner you can start using it to your advantage. There will be moments when it feels like life is stacked against you, when the effort you put in doesn't match the rewards you receive. It's in those moments that perseverance becomes your greatest tool. It's easy to keep moving when everything's going your way, but the real challenge comes when the odds aren't in your favor. That's when true growth happens, when you learn to navigate the setbacks, disappointments, and unfairness without losing your drive or your belief in yourself. Life's unfairness also teaches you empathy. Once you've been through tough times, you understand the struggles others face. You realize that everyone is carrying their own burdens, and sometimes their journey is just as difficult as yours. This perspective helps you stay grounded and humble, knowing that while life might not always be fair, it's something we all experience in different ways. At the end of the day, you can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you react. Life isn't fair, but that doesn't mean you stop striving for your goals or give up on your dreams. It means you keep moving forward, regardless of the setbacks, because progress is made not by avoiding challenges, but by overcoming them. It's in the unfair moments that your character is truly tested and shaped. So while life may not be fair, your determination and resilience can still carry you to where you want to be. Happiness is often misunderstood as a destination, something you achieve once you've reached a certain point in life, whether it's landing a dream job, buying a house, or reaching a personal goal. But happiness isn't a finish line you cross after completing a series of tasks or accomplishments. It's not something that suddenly arrives when everything in your life falls into place. Instead, happiness is a journey, a way of living and experiencing life day by day. This means that waiting for happiness to come at some future moment when you have more money, a better career, or a perfect relationship will only lead to frustration and disappointment. Life will always have its ups and downs, and if your happiness is tied to reaching specific milestones, you'll find that once you reach one, a new set of challenges or desires will emerge. That's why it's crucial to find joy and fulfillment in the present, even as you work toward your goals. The journey to happiness is about appreciating the small moments, the daily experiences that bring you contentment, joy, or peace. It's about recognizing the value in everyday things, the laughter shared with a friend, the satisfaction of completing a task, the beauty of a sunset. These moments, often overlooked, are where happiness truly resides. When you focus on the journey instead of the destination, you allow yourself to be fully present in life, embracing both the highs and the lows. Happiness also comes from growth and progress. It's not about reaching a perfect state, but about constantly learning, evolving, and becoming a better version of yourself. The challenges and struggles you face along the way are part of that process. They shape you, teach you resilience, and give you a deeper appreciation for the good times. In this sense, happiness isn't just about feeling good all the time. It's about finding meaning and purpose in the journey itself, even when things are difficult. This mindset shift from destination to journey also helps you avoid the trap of comparison. When you think happiness is something you'll achieve once you've reached certain goals, it's easy to look at others and feel like you're falling short. But when you view happiness as a journey, you understand that everyone's path is different. You're not racing toward a finish line, and there's no single way to achieve happiness. It's something personal, something that's cultivated through your unique experiences and outlook on life. Happiness is also about gratitude. When you focus on the journey, you learn to appreciate what you have in the moment rather than always yearning for what's next. Gratitude shifts your perspective from what's lacking to what's present, from what you're missing to what you've already gained. This simple practice of recognizing and appreciating the good in your life, no matter how small, fosters a sense of contentment that makes the journey itself worthwhile. Ultimately, happiness is not a place you arrive at after completing a checklist of life goals. It's a way of walking through life, a practice of finding joy, meaning, and fulfillment in the present moment. It's about embracing the journey with all its twists and turns, knowing that happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you create along the way. You are responsible for your own happiness, and this is one of the most empowering yet challenging truths of life. It means that your happiness isn't dependent on other people, external circumstances, or material possessions. It comes from within, shaped by your mindset, choices, and actions. While it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that someone else or something outside yourself will make you happy, real happiness is something you create and cultivate on your own. Relying on others for your happiness can lead to disappointment. No one else can truly understand your needs, desires, or aspirations as deeply as you do. People may offer support, love, and companionship, but expecting them to be responsible for your emotional well-being puts an unfair burden on them and leaves you powerless when things don't go the way you expect. Happiness derived from others is fragile because it depends on things you can't control: people's actions, opinions, or even their presence in your life. When you take responsibility for your own happiness, you reclaim your power. You learn to create joy and contentment from within, regardless of external circumstances. This also means letting go of the idea that happiness is something that will come later, after you've achieved certain goals or reached specific milestones. If you're constantly waiting for that promotion, relationship, or life change to make you happy, you're putting your happiness on hold indefinitely. There will always be another goal to strive for, another challenge to overcome. True happiness isn't something that happens after you've achieved everything on your list. It's something you can experience along the way. When you take responsibility for your happiness, you shift your focus from the future to the present, learning to find joy in the journey rather than waiting for some perfect moment to arrive. Happiness also requires a level of self-awareness. You need to understand what truly brings you joy, what fulfills you, and what aligns with your values. It's easy to get caught up in society's expectations, chasing after things that we've been told will make us happy, whether it's success, status, or material wealth. But these external markers of happiness often fall short. To be truly happy, you need to look inward and define happiness on your own terms. What makes you feel alive, content, and at peace. Taking responsibility for your happiness means making choices that are true to you, even if they go against conventional wisdom or other people's expectations. This sense of responsibility also extends to how you respond to life's challenges. No one is immune to hardships, setbacks, or difficult circumstances. But while you can't always control what happens to you, you can control how you respond. You have the power to choose your attitude, your mindset, and how you navigate tough times. Blaming external factors for your unhappiness only keeps you stuck. Instead, taking ownership of your happiness means acknowledging that you have the ability to change your perspective and find meaning, growth, and even joy in difficult situations. Being responsible for your own happiness also means taking care of yourself physically, emotionally, and mentally. It's about prioritizing self-care, setting boundaries, and ensuring that you're meeting your own needs. It's not selfish to focus on your well-being. In fact, it's necessary. When you're fulfilled and happy, you're in a better position to give to others, to contribute to the world, and to live a life of purpose. At the end of the day, no one can make you happy but you. This doesn't mean life will always be easy or that you won't have moments of sadness or struggle, but it does mean that the key to your happiness is in your hands. You have the power to create a life that brings you joy, meaning, and fulfillment, and that starts with taking responsibility for your own happiness. In the end, life will always present its challenges, its moments of unfairness, and its uncertainties. But what truly matters is how you respond to them. Happiness, success, resilience, they are not gifts handed to you, but choices you make each and every day. You are responsible for your journey, your growth, and ultimately your happiness. It's not about waiting for the perfect circumstances or relying on others to carry you forward. It's about embracing the lessons, making sacrifices, and staying disciplined when motivation fades. Life may not always be fair, but your determination, your ability to keep moving forward, and your willingness to find joy in the journey will define your success. So take ownership of your path, knowing that no matter the obstacles, you have the strength to create a life that's meaningful, fulfilling, and truly yours.